Daf Samach Gimel Amud Beis will begin Samach Gimel Amud Aleph, 5 lines from the bottom. Continue on with the discussion about someone, a Talmud, who is Meira Halacha Bifnei Rabbi. Rabbi Eliezer says if a Talmud is Meira Halacha, if he paskins in front of his Rebbe, Meiridin Oisa Migdulos, they lower him from his level of greatness. Elazar said to the soldiers, this was after the Anshe Midian, he gave over to them some of the halachos, v'geulei kelim, kashrin kelim. Now, even though Moshe Rabbeinu was present, and even though he told them, and afal gav da'amr, he said to them, la'achi abba tziva v'oisi lo tziva, that Hashem commanded this to my uncle and not to me. Nevertheless, he was punished. Dirshu, where do you see that he was punished? Because Dirshu, it says, Lefnei Elazar HaKohen Yameh. It says that Yeshua would come before Elazar and to ask shilas from him. And we never find that Yeshua had to come on to Elazar. So this cover, this gedula that he was supposed to have, he never in fact attained that because of a punishment for being Meir Bifnei Moshe Rabbeinu. And he who says something in front of his Rebbe, so any sin who says something before his Rebbe, he goes to the grave without a child. Yeshua, who was the Meshoris, the servant of Moshe, he said, Yeshua, who was the servant of Moshe Rabbeinu, said, Adoni Moshe Kalaim. He said to them, this is regarding when Eldad Ameda or Misnabe, so he said to Moshe Rabbeinu that they should lock him up. So he told Moshe Rabbeinu, so to speak, he told him what to do. He said that this is what should be done, and he said this in front of Moshe Rabbeinu, Uksiv, Nun B'nai Yeshua B'nai. Mishua Nun B'nai Yeshua B'nai. And when it says by Elishama, it gives the Yichus, it says that Nun B'nai, his son was Nun, and his son was Yeshua. And it doesn't go further. It doesn't describe the lineage further. So apparently it stopped with Yeshua. Apparently Yeshua did not have a child. So you see, because of the fact that Yeshua was Meir B'fnei Rabba, B'fnei Moshe Rabbeinu, he was not Zeicha to his son. However, Pligi the Rava Bar Papa, this that said that Yeshua's punishment was because of this Maisa, argues on the following. Da'ama Rabbi Bar Papa, he said, Yeshua ela b'shul shabitul Yisrael laila achazim pir v'rivya. He says that the reason that he was punished without having a child was because he was mevatel klal Yisrael from pru'urvu. So mida keneged mida, he was mevatel them from pru'urvu. So mida keneged mida, he didn't have a child. What was the maisa that he was mevatel them pru'urvu? The verse is as follows: Shenemar v'ahi b'yosishu b'Yericha v'yisa eina v'yar. Says when Yeshua was in Yericha, the outskirts of Yericha, he lifted up his eyes and he saw the Malach Hashem. And it says, the next passage says that I'm coming, I'm not an enemy, I'm coming, I'm in office of Hashem, and I've come for now. What I've come for is for now. So what is the now? What is Atabasi? What is for the mice, for the incident that's now, that occurred now, that he's coming for? Amr Loi, the Malach said to Yeshua, Emesh b'taltem tamish ben arbaim. In the afternoon, you're mevatel the korban, bringing the korban of tamish ben arbaim. Va'achshav b'taltem talmud Torah. And now it's nighttime, and you're now mevatel the Klal Yisrael from Talmud Torah. Al Ezemehem. So that's what he said. You did these two things. Al Ezemehem Basa. So Yeshua asked the Malach, which one are you coming for? What are you coming for? You're opposing me. You're coming with me with your sword. Charba shlufa biyodai. On which avera are you coming to punish me? Amrloi atabasi. I'm coming for the avera of right now, the avera of Bittul Talmud Torah. So to rectify that, miyad vayelach Yeshua balaylahu mitoyecha b'seicha emek. So it says that Yeshua went that night, and he went into the valley. So it's went b'seicha emek, to the valley. V'amar Rav Yechon says Melamed shahalach v'umka shal halacha, that he went to delve into the depths of the halacha, of the Torah. So he went to be Isaac b'Torah. So the Malach came to him. He saw the Malach. Yeshua saw the Malach. His charbesh luf b'yada. His sword was drawn. So he said, "On what are you coming? What are you coming to oppose me for?" He said, "There was two things. There was the emesh that you were mevatal Klal Yisrael from bringing the korban, from being makri of the korban Talmud, and now you're mevatal them from Talmud Torah." Meaning, because you now took them out to war, because you camped and you took them and you laid the siege around Yericho, these are the two consequences. So he asked them, on which one is the one that you're coming for, and which you're now that you have your sword drawn? He said, it's for what's now, for the Talmud. So he rectified it, he went and he's lawn, but now continue on what we're trying to prove from here. Ukimir, we have a Kabbalah that calls man sha'aron shchina shrim shlebe kaiman asura metasha shamit. So the Aron was taken out. They took out the Aron. They laid the siege against Yericho, so they couldn't be makar of the korban atomic. Now, if they took the Aron was in his place. They calls man that the Aron is not in his place, and the shchina shlebe kaiman. They're also asur to have relations. So he's mevatel them from puravu. So therefore, he was mevatel them from Talmud Torah. He was mevatel them from the korban atomic. They're also mevatel from puravu. So the consequences of laying siege, these were the three consequences. Now the Gemara, what we're trying to prove over here, that Rabbi Abba Bar Papa says that Yeshua was punished that he didn't have a child because puravu. So how do you see from this Maisa that it was dafka puravu? The Ritva says it's mida keneged mida. There was three consequences, the three averas. There were the bittul of the Talmud Shabbein Arbaim, the Talmud Torah, and puravu. But mida keneged mida was puravu, and that therefore he didn't have a child. Amar Rishon Bar Yimishmei the Rav Godol Talmud Torah Yisrael Makrovas Tamidim. Talmud Torah is even greater than Talmud Hakrovas Tamidim, being makar of the korban atomic, because, as we said, the consequences of Yeshua's action were there was no Talmud Torah, there was no Hakrovas of the Talmud. But however, the Malach said, when Yeshua asked him, "On what are you coming, opposing me now for?" I'm coming for the aver of now. Nighttime is not the time to be makar of the korban atomic. I'm coming for the aver of now that you're mevatel Talmud Torah. So you see that Talmud Torah is greater even than Akrovas Hatzmidim. Amar Bruna Amar Kol Yashin Bekila Sheish Vishta Shruimba. So we're talking about being mevatel from puravu. So he said, if anybody sleeps in a room where a man and wife are, so memela they will refrain from puravu because there's somebody else there. Alav, so he's there in that room. Alav Akosav Aimer Neshei Ame Tigarsha Mi Beis Tanugya. You drive out the women, the wives of my nation, from the Beis Tanugya, from the house of their enjoyment. By being there, you're mevatel them from puravu. He said it even applies if the man and the woman, if the woman is a nida where they can't have relations anyway, it still applies because of the discomfort that it causes. But Rav Amar imishta nida hitavala bracha. He says if it's the ishta nida, it's tavala bracha because it adds a further safeguard, a further restraint that they won't engage in relations, which is also. But the Gemara says, "V'lohi," that's not so. Dar hada man natri. Till now, he wasn't there. Who protected them? Who guarded them that they shouldn't have relations? Elamai, as we say, as the Gemara in Sanhedrin says, Elamai. We don't need a safeguard for an ish v'isha. For a married man and woman, we don't need a safeguard if she's a nida because the harchakas that we have are enough to keep them away, to keep them and restrain them from being together. So therefore, we don't hold what Rava said. And if he's in a place, in a room where a man and woman are, even if she is in nida, it still applies that this pasuk. We still apply this pasuk. Returning now to the halachas of shituf and eruv, and where there is a akum involved. There was a mavoid havadayba lachman barista, that a certain akum named Nachman barista, he lived over there. So since there was an akum and it was in the mavoi, just like you have to make an eruv in the chaser, you have to make a shituf in the mavoi, which is a similar type of mechanism to be able to carry from the chaser to the mavoi. So in the similar problem that we have with an akum and a chaser, we have an akum and a mavoi. They can't make a shituf for the akum. So they said to him, rent out your rights in the mavoi, and therefore your rights are non-existent or not present, and therefore it's as if you're not there. Therefore they will be able to carry in the mavoi. So they asked him, they asked him to rent out the rishus. He refused. He refused to do it. Also, so they presented the problem to Abaye and asked him what to do. He gave him an eitzah. He said, "Be mevatel yerushoz to one person." So therefore, all the rights reside with one person, and therefore it will be considered to be. It will deem to be that there's only one person together with the nachri and the mavli, and if there's only one, we paskin that there's only one yid in the mavli, it doesn't asa. It's only if there's two or more, and therefore by being mevatel rishus, all the rishus to one, it's as if there's only one yid in the mavli, and therefore the nachri he won't aser, and even if he agreed to the rental, he won't aser. Rashi points out that l'cher this is difficult because that will only help the person that is the recipient of this bittul. Let's say, for instance, there's five people, they're mevatel the rishus, or five chatzeres, they're mevatel rishus to one. Only he can carry, not them. So what is the eitzah? What does this help? So Rashi says, but for kalim or articles, items that were in the mavi on the onset of Shabbos, it will help for all of them to be able to carry in the mavi. However, Taisus asks on this that is only a benefit according to Rab, who says that without the shituf you cannot carry through the mavi items that were in the mavi, that were present at the mavi onset of Shabbos. But according to the other Maroim, they say even without the shituf, if the items that were in the mavi on the onset of Shabbos, you can carry. It's only from the chaser to the mavi, so there wouldn't be a benefit. Taisus points out there would not be a benefit according to these other Amoraim. The other benefit of the bittul, Rashi points out, is that one can carry from the house of the recipient of the bittul into the mavi. But as the Ritva points out, however, that's only for the recipient. But the other people, they cannot carry even from the house of the recipient. The other people who are mevatel to him, to the recipient, they cannot carry from his house to the mavi. So it has only a limited benefit. In any event, there's only a limited benefit. But they said to Abaye, so they asked on this eitzah that he gave them, how is this valid? This time is that we say that one yid doesn't need a shituf when he's together with the akum. That's only because the reason that they said that an akum asers is because they didn't want the yid to live with the akum together, and one living alone is something that is not shlit, it's not common. But but he said, how is that an eitzah over here? Because over here, lamaisa, in fact, there are people living together with the akum, It's really, in reality, there's not only one person, even though they're Mevatel Rishus, but in reality, there are other people other Yid living in the Movi together with the Akum. So therefore, why should this help? Why don't we say that the Akum still should answer? Why do we consider it like only one person and it's a milsa de leishchich, it's not a common occurrence and he doesn't answer? Amarlu, he answered to them, he said, Kol betul rishusai gabechad, that's a milsa de leishchichu. It's true that in reality there are others living here, but we're requiring them to all be mevatel rishus to one. That's also something which is not common. It's not shchicha. Milsa de leishchichu like also barabanan. And therefore the gzeira for an akum, it should not apply in this case either, because it's also a davar de leishchich that they should all be mevatel rishus to this one person. So he said over this eitzah that Abaye gave Sarah to Rava, Rava said in Cain, if you're going to do this, you're going to be mevatel, abolish the teres movi, the teres eruv from this movi, because every week, if he doesn't agree to it, if the Akim doesn't agree to it now, he probably will never agree to it. So every week you're going to be doing the same mechanism, the same mate. So you're going to be vatal rishus. You'll never make an eruv, and people will forget there's a requirement for eruv. So more answers. You said the Ma'arvi. We say that in addition to the bittul rishus, you also have to make an eruv. You have to make an eruv in addition, so people should know and remember the halach of eruv. Well, if that's the case, people will say that they see an eruv and they see an akum. They'll say that it's the eruv that helps. You can make an eruv in a place of an achri. They'll say you can make an eruv, and which of course is not so. It's only over here because they're mevatel rishus. So the Gemara says, Ravuna answered the machrazina. We make a proclamation. We say that we're carrying from the chatzeres from the chatzeres to the mavoi, not because of the eruv, it's because of the bittul rishus. It's because of the bittul rishus. So therefore, we make a achraza, and therefore people will realize that there's an eruv, so they shouldn't forget there's an eruv. But don't think that an eruv helps b'makam lachrei, b'makam akum, because there's a bittul rishus. Rava asks on this, is this hachraza going to help for the children? The children don't know from this, and they don't know from the bittul rishus. They see there's an akum over here. They see that you're carrying. They will think that you can make an eruv of malkam akum. When they get older, future generation, they'll think that an eruv helps malkam akum. Therefore, Rava said this is not an eitzah. So Rava will propose a different eitzah, which we'll see Bez Hashem in the next shiur.